I'm talking to Andrew Boyson of SecureKey, and you're going to talk me through a little bit about the Credential Broker Service in Canada. So can you give us a little bit of background to this project?
Sure. The government of Canada was looking for a service that they could use to authenticate Canadians online. The challenge that the Canadian government has is that they know who I am on paper, but they don't really know who I am in person when I show up, either online or at the counter. So they were looking for a mechanism to do authentication by somebody else that they could rely on. So they spent a couple of years putting an RFP together, and they put it out on the street, and then they had 120 people download the RFP, and SecureKey ultimately was the winner of the bid with our solution, where we proposed to, with 3 Canadian banks, provide credentials that Canadians use every day for their banking services as a mechanism to get access to online services for government.
So it's basically a Canadian government program that, in conjunction with 3 Canadian banks, to allow you sort of an ID identification to access your bank account. So I mean, how does it actually work?
The concept is you're going to be able to use your bank account to get access to government service. So the way this will work is you're going to go to your favorite government program, maybe it's your tax account, and you're going to say you want to get access to services. What the government is going to do is present a menu of choices that you can use as a consumer to log in. On that menu, starting will be 3 Canadian banks. You'll pick your favorite bank. You'll authenticate with your bank. And having done that, the bank is going to give SecureKey a unique handle for you, what we call an MBUN, a meaningless but unique number. SecureKey will take that number and transform it again, and we created what's called a persistent anonymous identifier, so that we're not giving the same handle that the bank gave us to the government. And then we're going to present that to the Government of Canada program. So when I'm over at CRA, my tax account, the first time I show up, they're going to say, hey, I haven't seen this number before, so this must be an enrollment. CRA is going to ask me a bunch of questions to assess my identity. Once they're satisfied it's Andre Boyson, they're going to bind that token they got from SecureKey to the account. So every time I show up in future, then I can just log in with my bank account and I'll know it's me. What's important here is that it's a triple blind service. So there's no sharing of bank account detail. What bank you came from or your account information is going to government. And likewise, the Canadian bank is not getting any information about what government program you accessed or what account numbers was used for that. And we, SecureKey, don't know who the authentication is for, so we don't know the subject or the person that is being authenticated. So it's a triple blind service that protects the privacy of consumers, but still gets a result that the Canadian government can rely on to deliver government services online.
So I mean, Canada has EMV, unlike the US. So I mean, how does it leverage that EMV technology?
So 2 of our banks are launching with user ID and password. A third is going to be using their contactless EMV card as a mechanism for authenticating. For those users who want to authenticate that way, basically, they'll get a special purpose NFC reader. I have one here. So this is a device that the bank will give you at no cost to the consumer. And so when you want to get access, so a user will be able to tap their contactless card from the bank on a token that we provide, and then provide their online password, and then that will produce a handle, an MBUN, and we will give that to Government of Canada. So what's interesting about our solution is that each CSP or bank can do an authentication in a different way, but the result shows up the same for Government of Canada, that they're going to get this persistent anonymous identifier, so they don't have to be worried about the details of how the authentication happened. They know it at a certain standard, and they can rely on it.
So right now it's a token. Is that going to change in the future?
So we're going to launch with tokens, but we've got partners. So one of our important partners is Intel. And Intel is working with us to get our technology embedded in laptops. So in future, you won't have to get a token from your bank. It'll come embedded in your laptop. We're also working to get embedded in phones so that we can get, in the future, be able to tap your bank card on your phone and use that as a mechanism to authenticate for services.
So can you tell me the 3 banks that you're working with in Canada?
Yes, the Bank of Montreal, Bank of Nova Scotia, and TD Bank.
So, and this is available now, or is this not on a trial right at the moment?
So we're in the build-out right now. So the service will be generally available roughly mid-next year. It'll probably start with a few government departments, and then Government of Canada, at the pace that makes sense for them, will roll out all of their government programs. And then, I believe by the end of 2012, all government programs that are currently online will be available for this service.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.